What's up, guys? Eli here, back for a new stuff video. I got a bunch of cool stuff, actually. Mostly Discogs orders that I made over the last couple weeks, and a couple of things I picked up at a local record store. So like I said in my last video, I've been kind of catching up on like the last 10, 15 years. Stuff that I listened to and even loved, but just never got around to buying. I don't even know what my excuse for not buying some of these is. Like, some of these albums are honestly some of my favorites, and they mean a lot to me. I've had like I said, a CDR or a MP3s on my iPod or whatever, but always felt shitty about not owning a physical copy. I can't afford to buy everything, but eventually I try and catch up. So yeah, a lot of this stuff is from, like I said, the last 10, 15 years. Just shit that I have really enjoyed in the past. I never got a copy. Some of these I haven't heard in 10, 15 years or whatever. I remember really, really liking them. And I'm kind of curious to see how they stack up, see if they hold up to, the way I remember them. But anyways, this first one is actually a 2020 release. This one kind of caught my eye for a reason I'll tell you about. This came out of Moribund Records out of Washington, not far from where I live. The band is called Dark Psychosis. The Edge of Nowhere. Pretty cool cover art there. It's a glossy, pretty flimsy digipack. It doesn't come with a booklet or anything, but whatever. So, you'll see that guy right there, Zaffin. Plays everything, by the way. Plays vocals, guitars, bass, drums, and keys. This guy, he is a kind of a legend in the Michigan area. He's been in bands like Summon, Killer Summon. Oh man, such a good band. And I think he was in Masochist as well. So he's been around. He's been in the black metal underground since the 90s. I have not listened to this. It's black thrash from what I can tell, but I only got this a couple days ago. Haven't listened to it yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be good. Now, like I said, the rest of these are basically old. A lot of these I bought off Discogs for pretty cheap, actually. So yeah, I'm definitely filling holes in my collection, and like I said, just picking up things that I remember really, really digging, and just they kind of escaped me. Like this one right here, two-man band out of Norway. Maybe not the coolest band name, but we got Dead to This World. I think this is the only thing they ever did. First Strike for Spiritual Renunce. So this came out on, Century Media. I do not remember Century Media putting this out. Odds are the reason they put this out is because, other than drums, Iscaria from Immortal does everything else. So it was kind of cool to hear. So Iscaria only played bass in Immortal for a couple of years. So it's cool to see what else he can bring to the table other than, bass tracks that nobody has ever even, you can barely even hear them. So it's cool to see, like I said, what else he can bring to the table. And he can bring a lot to the table. So this is some killer black thrash. Iscaria is fucking awesome. I wish he'd have done more with this band, but I don't know, maybe in the future. So if you're a fan of thrash metal or black metal, definitely check that one out. Let me know what you think. This next album also came out on Moribund Records back in 2008. I believe they're still active, and I think they've done one or maybe even two more full lengths since this one. This album kind of got a lot of attention when it came out, mostly for the band members being from the Middle East. Now, I can't remember which country, if it's Lebanon or Israel, or I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's definitely the Middle East. Like I said, they got a lot of attention kind of right away, and then it just, the hype just kind of wore off pretty quick. However, I think this album is quite good, and definitely more than just a hyped album. So the band I'm talking about is Ayat, or Ayat. Not really sure. Very, very cool logo. 6 years of dormant hatred. Killer, just blasphemous, dirty black metal. It's two guys in this band. killer black metal. I definitely recommend this one. And if you've heard them, let me know what you think. If you've heard their later stuff, let me know what you think about that, because I haven't heard it. And I could be off a little bit. I remember really digging this album, but like I said, I haven't listened to it since I bought it, so I probably haven't heard it in over 10 years. So I'm curious to see how it holds up, as really a lot of these. Not this one. This one right here is a definite black metal classic. Definitely one of the better black metal things to ever come out of the U.S. Easily. This is the first album I ever heard from this band. Actually, got Judas Iscariot, Heaven in Flames. This came out on Red Stream. Can't remember what the date was. So this was the first Judas Iscariot album I ever heard. Oddly enough, when I first heard it, I didn't immediately like it. I wasn't too well versed in the raw black metal stuff. I was listening to Emperor and Immortal and stuff. I never heard anything like this, so I was really put off by its, the rawness of the recording and the sloppiness of the musicianship. But now I think it's just fantastic. Just excellent atmosphere, just perfect raw black metal. One of the best bands to play this kind of black metal ever. Now this album, I remember really liking, and I put one track on at work on Spotify. And I don't know, man, it wasn't really my thing. I didn't like it as much as I remember liking this before. But I'm still going to, listen to the full album and, maybe it'll grow on me again. But I liked it a lot when it came out back in, I don't know, maybe 2010-ish. We got Blood Wolf with their one and only full length. However, they do have demos, EPs, and splits. They were active. They were very active for a good 5 years, and then they just kind of probably moved on to other things. So Cryptic Revelations came out on Charged Records out of New Jersey. Not a label I'm familiar with, but I've heard it's a label that releases a lot of punk and stuff. So this is basically punk / heavy metal. Really cool melodic solos, a lot of ripping, really catchy riffs. If you're a fan of Midnight and Toxic Holocaust and later era Abigail, stuff like that, you might want to give it a listen. Unlike those bands that I just named, there's no black metal touches. It's just punk and heavy metal just combined, and it's a cool album. Like I said, I don't know if it holds up to at least to my my memories of first hearing it, but it's still a cool album. This one, I can't remember if this is an EP or full length. This came out a couple years back. It kind of went under the radar, but it came out on Dark Descent Records, so I feel like it's got to be good. And I remember the owner of that label, Matt, saying that he was kind of disappointed. He felt like this album went kind of unnoticed. He felt like it was a really good album, and it just didn't quite get its due. Death metal out of Australia. None of the members are listed, at least as far as I can see, so I don't know who's in the band. But we got San La Muerte with Lip Reading the Dead. Like I said, came out a couple years back in Dark Descent. I don't exactly remember. I know that it's death metal, and I haven't listened to it yet. Pretty stoked to hear it. And now we're getting into some classics that I've wanted to own for years and years, and even maybe decades in some cases. Just never managed to snag a physical copy. I think this is their fourth album. It came out in 1989 originally. This is a 2001 a reissue on Peaceville Records. Candlemass, Tales of Creation. What can I say, man? The creators of Epic Doom. It's still the best band to ever play that style. This album is fantastic. 10 out of 10. Just like their first, 4 albums. Are all 100% perfect. 10 out of 10. This might be my favorite Candlemass album. That's really hard to say. Not much more I need to say about that. Now, these next two are also very, very dear to me. They mean a lot to me. They're actually some of my favorite albums of all time. That might sound weird that I've never owned a physical copy, but it happened, believe it or not. This is my favorite album by this band, one of my favorite bands. This is one of the few albums that I would consider perfect 10 out of 10. Flawless, completely flawless albums. Primordial to the Nameless Dead. Came out 2007 on Metal Blade Records. I've talked about Primordial before. If you haven't heard them, they are like a pagan black metal band, totally unique. They don't sound like anybody. Nobody sounds like them. Not a lot of bands can say they have their own sound, but Primordial definitely do. This album is just one of the most intense, sad, heartfelt albums I've ever heard in my entire life. Mandatory listening. If you're into black metal at all, you have to hear this. One of the most underrated bands out there. They have a big fan base, but still, I feel like they deserve so much more. This album is the precursor to that. This came out in 2005, Metal Blade Records. This is The Gathering Wilderness. Excellent album. It's definitely a fan favorite. This album is very well known for having the song "The Coffin Ships," an absolutely amazing, tremendous song. Just one of the best songs I've ever heard, to be honest. If you're gonna check out anything from this album, if you haven't heard Primordial, go listen to "The Coffin Ships," and also listen to Empire Falls. I mean, just check them out. If you've never heard them, let me know what you think. Hopefully it blows your mind like it did. This was the first album I ever heard from this band. I was just hooked instantly. Now we have a black metal band out of Japan. This is the last thing they ever did, I think, back in 2013. Also came out of Moribund Records. We have it's just a one-man band, Dark Cell. Very cool, ambient, atmospheric, just crazy sounding black metal. Haven't heard this particular album, but I've heard some of their other stuff and I absolutely loved it. So, looking forward to getting reacquainted. Oh man, this one right here, I just discovered this band like a week ago, and I don't remember how I discovered them. I found them on Metal Archive somehow, and pretty much based off the record label, which is Possession Productions out of Belarus. It's a label that I like some stuff they put out, and when I saw the band photo, I just had to order this. This came out in 2005. This is what is it called? Satanism, Sickness, Solitude. Man, yeah, you got to see what the band members look like. It's crazy. Look at this band photo. I mean, these dudes, they legitimately look insane. I don't know, maybe they're just trying to look that way for the picture, the band photo. I don't know. But I did sample a little bit of it on YouTube, and it sounds pretty fucking cool. So I'm really stoked to dive into that one. For years now, I've been trying to get more Xasthur stuff. Xasthur, atmospheric, depressive black metal out of the U.S. Got The Funeral of Being. I can't remember when this came out. Early to mid 2000s. This came out on Red Scream and Bloodfire Death. Obviously, we all know who Xasthur are. One of the notorious, one-man black metal bands that came out of the U.S. in the early 2000s. People either love Xasthur or they hate it, and I've always really liked it. I'm definitely a fan. I like all Xasthur stuff. I don't know. I guess I can see why someone might not be a big fan, but I've always loved his shit. It's just such minimalist, raw, tortured, trance-inducing, repetitive, depressive black metal. I can't get enough. Hopefully I can get the rest of their shit, or the rest of his shit, I should say. And now here's a band. This is the last one, by the way, but here's a band that I've wanted to own. I like all their shit. I think I've heard all their albums. They are all fantastic. I'm just now getting around to, getting something from them. I do have a live DVD that they put out some years back, but we have out of Hungary, we've got Seer Bliss with Forsaken Symphonies. Note the cool Chris Verwimp cover art. Now these guys are think they're typically kind of considered like a symphonic black metal band. I don't know if I completely agree with that. They are well known for like having brass instruments. Like their singer will play like he'll play like I think it's trombones and shit like that, and it adds a very cool, unique touch to their black metal. As far as I know, I mean, I don't know if anyone's done that before these guys, but yeah. I always thought their band photos were interesting too. They're one of those bands that, I'm not trying to mock them, but one of those bands that has like one guy wearing corpse paint and everyone else choosing not to. Primordial does that as well. I always thought that was strange. It's like, this guy's like, hey, we're a black metal band, and these guys are like, nah, I don't know. Not really. But killer stuff. I don't hear much about them these days, but yeah, if you haven't heard Seer Bliss and you're into like, let's just say if you're into symphonic black metal, I think this will definitely appeal to you. A couple freebies, just stickers and shit. Generation Records was one of the guys that I ordered from. Never been to the record store, and I don't even remember where he's from, where he's located, but cool sticker, and yeah, thank you. He also sent me this cool Halloween 2 card, Fright Film Facts. Michael Myers there, very cool. Season of Mist sticker, like I showed in one of my other videos. Guess I have 2 now. And this one's fucking badass right here, this Magic Circle. Pretty big Magic Circle sticker, it's awesome. Very cool doom metal band, like old style doom metal band out of the US. So anyways, that's all I got, guys. Let me know what you think. Like I said, definitely some killer albums in this stack. Really looking forward to hearing the ones that I, am not familiar with. But I'm even more excited to own, some of these classics that my collection has been lacking for, 10, 15, 20 years. So I hope you guys are having a good week. Louis says hello. Talk to me. We'll talk soon either way. Cheers.